Greetings, darling. I'm not even going to try and be seductive because I'm a little under the weather. Yes, well, today we are going to do something a little different from usual, you might add. Yes. We are going to look at something known as artificial intelligence. No, this isn't a homunculus. But it is rather as if the humans devised something quite similar to one. Yes, we are looking at this technology that creates images based on writing, which we presume would be witchcraft, but apparently it's science. But honestly, I don't really see any difference. Anyway, you may have noticed my outfit. Well, I'm definitely not wearing a push-up bra. Definitely. Yeah, yes, very much not wearing a push-up bra. Not at all threatened by the first prompt that I delivered to the AI. Yes, you see, I wanted to make waifus of myself in the anime form. And instead of paying some degenerate on the internet to draw them, I used a machine. Isn't it fascinating? Yes. So let's give it a shot, eh? I'm going to discuss, I've used two prompts, right? A simple one and a complex, more complicated prompt to see if AI really can create the perfect waifu based on Miss Angel. And the first prompt was rather simple. It was just a red-haired witch with boobs bigger than her head. That was the important part. We want her to have cleavage. And also the next bit was that it was anime form. The style was anime. And these were the ideas that it came up with. I picked my favourite of the bad ones, my favourite of the good ones, and then I have a favourite overall. That's what I'm going for. Starting off, this first one, I mean, apart from the fact I had to censor it, I didn't tell it to be topless. I just said big boobs, but whatever. A lot of them were topless for reasons. I don't know. I guess it just sort of made the connection with big boobs equals hentai or something. I don't know. The hair, it kind of looks like she's going bald or is experiencing some kind of hair loss. I'm not really sure what that's about. I don't know why her hair is like, she's got like a few strands and then nothing. Like, I don't get it at all. Yeah. I mean, she's a redhead and she's got boobs, so there's that. I mean, generally they're all redhead and with boobs, but you know, I suppose it wasn't that difficult to prompt. The next one, I'm not sure about its eyes. Eyes are a bit weird. And the thing that I kind of tend to notice is that it's not very good at doing hands. For some reason, it finds hands and feet difficult. If something is going to go wrong in the image processing, it appears to be hands and feet for some reason. I don't know. Moving on to this last one. Honestly, when I was going through these, I didn't think I was going to come across any that were any good. Generally, most of the time, they're awful. And I'm sorry if I sound funny today. I just am sick like a dog. Why has she got horn? Like, what's that about? Is she an oni? I didn't say anything about horns. Hat, witch, not oni, not Japanese demon thingy. So looking at the good ones, I like the expression. It's interesting. I like that it's not topless. Plus, generally quite a nice witch. I think she could be waifu material. She seems like a nice witchy woman that would take you between her bosoms, give you a squeeze. Number 2, very reminiscent. It reminds me like of Soul Eater, if you know that series. Just something about it, a bit Soul Eater-ish. I like her costume, and yes, just quite. She's nice, you know. Not maybe you wouldn't have a cup of tea with her, but she might crush you. This last one's interesting too. She's nice, you know. I like her hair. I like the style. Such a nice style to the drawing. Not a bad effort, really. Now, the last one I want to talk about, my favourite. Absolutely love her expression. Just, she has this kind of tsundere look about her, which I just love. I like her hair, and I like the ensemble. So instead of all the rest of them are going for the cleavage, right, on show, she is a sophisticated witch. She covers her cleavage. Not saying I'm not a sophisticated witch. I'm definitely not threatened by these 2D witches. No, not at all. Well, generally I'd say it did a decent job with that prompt, but honestly I don't know where it's going to go with the next one. Because even though it had a simple prompt, it did get somewhat wrong sometimes in adding strange details that didn't need to be there. So we shall see. So the next prompt was more complicated. I shall show it on the screen, rather than say what it is. But generally you get the idea. I went for something a little more complicated, with a little more features, to see if it could understand and develop. So it's all well and good it giving me a waifu, but can it give me my ultimate depraved fantasy? So let's start with some of the bad ones. And there were many, many bad ones. I'm just giving you the highlights. Like this monstrosity, this abortive fetus of a witch by Beelzebub's beard. She's awful. It's so bad. They're just awful. Awful, 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 awful. Like, it's not just hands and feet, it's everything. Everything is awful. It's a nightmare, it's not a fantasy. Interesting that it kind of gave it a 3D-ish form. That's unusual. Moving on to the next one. This is... It seems to have combined the man and the woman into, like, one abomination. Looks like something out of Frankenstein's laboratory. Or Jujutsu Kaisen. Or Demon Slayer. It looks like something you need to salt and burn. Honestly. It's some sort of nightmare creature. This final one. This is the better one of the worst ones, honestly. Why does it have 3 legs? The face is kind of messed up, but generally most of the faces are screwed up. This one would have been fine if it just wasn't for that weird 3rd leg thing, or whatever that is. I really don't know. Moving on. So, what we have now, these are the nice ones. The ones I quite liked. I mean, you know, the best of a bad bunch. Generally these ones, for some reason, they decided to put the legs in the air. The ones with the legs in the air tend to look better. But then, you know, things would go wrong with the legs and the feet and things like that. The faces were slightly better. They're definitely better, I think, somewhat. In this first one. And in the coming up here, the second one, the face I like. But yeah, it's hard to get past the fact that it's not paying attention to half of the sentence. It's got female witch with, you know, maybe it understands blindfold somewhat, but none of the other stuff. Not really heels, I guess it gets. There's no man. She's not standing on anyone. So not really getting it. The final one's like this, so it's more of the same really. Definitely getting better, but still, you know, it's not perfect. It's not right. It didn't give me what I asked for. It gave me something close for. Do you imagine if you were googling something and you were like, I want to see this degenerate porno, and then it gave you something completely different, and you know, oh, it recognized the word degenerate, and it was like, oh, you're a degenerate, I will take you to the foot fetish anime Wikipedia. So honestly, it vaguely knows what I'm doing, but it's just not getting there. This one is my favorite. I like her expression, I like her pose. It's not perfect, it's not what I asked for, but it's still nice in some way. You know, it's kind of impressionist, like Salvador Dali-esque. I don't know. Again, the appendages aren't right, but it feels like it's like you have to compromise. You're like, as long as I don't look at the hands and feet, I can be cool with it. But if you pay attention to the details, you notice straight away. It's like a tell. So yeah, so this was a bit of a disaster, this one. So I would say that if you were going to make your own waifus, I would recommend being as simple as possible. So that was my witchy experiments into AI, and they were not very successful. Thank you for bearing with me. Don't have the same energy perhaps this time, and my voice might sound like a dying man. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like this content and you want to support me. There are various methods written in the description. If you've ever experimented yourself with AI prompts, let me know your success down in the comments. Maybe you're doing it, maybe I did it wrong, I don't really know. It's my first time. I had little help because my PC is a potato. By PC I mean magic box. My magic box is a potato. Another thing, I was hoping to do a future video where I answer some of your questions. If you have any questions about Miss Angel, then put them down in the comments as well, and they might appear in a future video. Someone bought me lingerie! It's really exciting. No one's ever bought me lingerie before. I mean, apart from Mummy Witch. My Mummy Witch has bought me lingerie. And I've bought myself things. It's via the Fansly thing, which you can check out if you're interested. But I've decided to do suggestive pictures, and I'm doing a series of pictures based on the tarot cards, so I'm having fun with that. Until next time, my darling.